Alrighty guys, obviously our test is tomorrow on Wednesday, okay? If you'd like to see the 3 stars, you can go ahead and look at the study guide. Remember that the 3 stars will not be in the exact same order as they are on this parallel review, okay? We switched them around, so make sure you are reading. Anyway, okay, number 4, the first thing that you're going to do on this test is be able to identify whatever kind of polynomial that's given to you. Okay, so for our study guide purposes, we said it's a cubic binomial. Okay, so cubic means to the 3rd power. Binomial means 2 terms. So let's say 3x cubed plus 2, or whatever, as long as your degree is 3 and you have 2 terms there. Okay, for number 5 and 6, you're going to classify again, but in order to do that, you need to have it in standard form. So to do that, the first one, first of all, I see a symbol in between my 2 parentheses. All I'm going to do is combine like terms based on that symbol. All right? So what I'm doing is I'm subtracting. So I have 3x to the 4th, and the like term is 6x to the 4th. Well, it's after the minus sign, so 3x to the 4th minus 6x to the 4th is negative 3x to the 4th. Remember, we do not change our degree unless we are multiplying or dividing. Okay, next thing would be x to the 3rd. I see 2x to the 3rd, and I see 10x to the 3rd. Okay, but the 10x to the 3rd is after the minus sign, so subtracting. 2x to the 3rd minus 10x to the 3rd is negative 8x to the 3rd. Okay, there is no x squared term. There's a 5x, which has no like terms. And then I see a negative 22, but it's after the negative sign, so minus negative really means plus a positive. There's my standard form. I can classify it now. Okay, the degree is 4, so that would be quartic. And there are 4 terms, so we call that a polynomial. Okay, number 6, all right, is a double FOIL situation here. Okay, so I always recommend working with the back 2 first, then multiplying in the front one. So remember, FOIL would be first times first, the first times the outside, the inner 2, and then the outside of both of them. Okay, so first of all, I'm not changing this first parenthesis at all. Okay, then I have in here x times x, which is x squared. I'm going to have like terms in the middle, so I'm not going to write both of these out. So I'm going to get negative x and a negative 6x and a positive 1x, which would give me negative 5x in the middle. Okay, and then negative 6 to end it off. All right. Now I have to FOIL again, so when I FOIL again, remember this x goes to all 3 terms, and then we do it a second time with the 4 to all 3 terms. Okay, so the x to all 3 terms just increases my powers by 1. Okay, the 4 to all terms multiply, so 4x squared, negative 20x, okay, and negative 24. Okay, I go ahead, I combine my like terms to give me my standard form here. So I have x cubed minus x squared minus 26x minus 24. Okay, I classify that. Okay, it's to the 3rd power, so that would be cubic. All right, and there's more terms, so polynomial. Okay, so there you go. There's your classifying. All right, moving on. Number 7 says write in factor form, give the zeros and state the multiplicity. Okay, so giving zeros. All right, so first you got to factor this. First thing we do when we factor, we always look for a GCF. The GCF here is x cubed. I can take out 3 x's from each one. So if I do that, I have x squared plus 8x plus 16. Okay, I can factor that now. I got to ask myself what multiplies to 16, adds to 8. Okay, so that would be 4 times 4. So my parentheses would be x plus 4 and x plus 4 here. Okay, zeros, remember, is just setting each one equal to 0. So what I'm going to get here, I get 2 zeros here. I get x is equal to 0. That comes from the x cubed. And then I get x is equal to negative 4, which comes from these parentheses here. Now notice they're the same, so that means there's 2 of them. Okay, so I would say the multiplicity here is 2. Now for the 0, okay, I look at the exponent that was with the x to the cube, x to the third, which is obviously it's 3. So that would tell me my multiplicity is 3. Okay, so there's that one. Nothing too crazy. Okay, these ones down here, all right. It doesn't look like this on the test. These look like normal multiple choice questions on the test here. This is not a this is not this big chart anymore. We changed it. Okay, so anyway, what you still have to do the same process. Okay, you can look at the arrows. They're on the front sheets, one of your 3 stars. Okay, so to see what they give you. So first of all, what I'm looking for here is odd negative ones. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to rewrite this in standard form. So that way we can use it later easier. Okay, so what I'm looking at is the biggest power of each one. Okay, and determining if that power is even or odd. Okay, and then I look at the number that's in front of it. Is it positive or is it negative? So this first group, I'm looking for odd negatives. So if I go to A, I've got an odd exponent, but not a negative number out front, so that's a no. B is a no, C is a no, D is a no, E is a no. I get all the way down, F is a no. I get all the way down to G. I see x cubed, so that's odd power, and then I look out front, it's a -7, so G meets my criteria. Okay, I do H also meets my criteria. Okay, power is 7, which is odd, and it is a -x, so therefore it meets that criteria. I does not meet the criteria, so we move on to the next one. And this next one is an even positive is what I'm looking for. Okay, so I believe B meets that. Okay, if I look, I have 6, which is even, and then if I look out front, that number is indeed positive. C does not meet my requirement, D does. Okay, E does not, F does not, I does not. Okay, last one is an opposite positive situation. Okay, so if I'm looking through, A meets that, C meets that, E meets that, and F meets that. So you can go ahead and check those out, see if you understand. Again, you're just looking at the first number. You're telling me, is the exponent even, or I'm sorry, is the exponent, even or odd? And then you look at the number that's in front of it. Is it positive or negative? Okay, that's what we're looking for here. Okay, number 11. Okay, number 11, I have, which one of these is not a factor? So what that means you have to do is you just factor it, and you pick the answer that you did not use. So first things first, I take out a GCF. So if I do that, GCF is Z. So that would be Z squared minus 2Z minus 35. Okay? Now if I'm looking at that right away, I notice I just used a Z. I took a GCF out of a Z, so that cannot be my answer. All right? So I go ahead and factor this farther. All right? If I do that, what multiplies to -35 adds to -2 is -7 and +5. This means I used a -7. I have used a +5, so the only one I have not used is -5. Okay? So this is just which one do you not use. So make sure you are reading what you're looking for here. Number 12. Number 12. Okay? It's just a cubes question, right? So again, you can find the formula on the front page there on your 3 stars, okay, which again are not going to be in the same order as they are on the study guide, okay? So if I do that, the formula says to find which number to the 3rd power gives you those. So x to the 3rd power would give me x to the 3rd power, and if you raise 5 to the 3rd power, you do get 125. Then the pattern goes, square the first one. Okay, opposite sign, multiply the 2 together, and finally, square the last one. Okay, nice and simple. Okay, pretty straightforward. Okay, number 13 is a calculator problem. You just go ahead and plug in the calculator, so I'll show you how to do that right now. Please make sure you understand how to do this. If not, ask me when you first walk in. Do not wait until you have a test in front of you to get to this problem. Okay, so I'm plugging in -1. So if I do that, I have 4 times -1. If I want to go to the 3rd power, I hit the caret key. It looks like a little up arrow or a little triangle, if you will. Okay, and then I hit whatever the power I need. Okay, then I can just keep typing -2 times -1, caret key, 2. All right, plus -1 here, and -9. I go ahead, I hit enter on my calculator, it gives me -16. So that's what it should look like on your calculator. Unless you have a nicer calculator that actually makes it look nice, then it'll look normal. But on the calculators that I have in my class, that's what it will look like. Okay, so there's that for you. All right, number 14. Okay, number 14 on your test, pay attention. There's a hint next to it. Okay, anytime we put a hint, we're trying to tell you something. Like, hey, make sure you check this first. Okay, so make sure you check out that hint. It'll be bolded off to the side there. Okay, when we do this one, what we're doing is we're going to do synthetic division here. So synthetic division is, remember, you make a little box. You do the opposite of what you see over on the right side there. So I see x plus 1. The opposite would be a -1. Okay, then I go ahead and write my coefficients inside my box. Okay, and what I'm going to get here, first number comes down. All right, when I'm outside, I multiply. When I'm inside, I add or subtract depending on what signs are there. So I have 2 minus 1. Okay, outside, multiply again. Okay, -5 minus 1 is -6. Outside, multiply. Okay, here I get 0. Now remember, from here, I bring it down 1 power, so that would be x squared plus x minus 6. Okay, this wants me to factor it completely. Okay, so because of that, I have to factor, so what multiplies to -6 adds to 1. Okay, that's going to be 3 and -2. Okay, and don't forget, one of your factors always is what did you originally divide by? Okay, so that x plus 1 comes into play. All right, so there's that. Okay, that's going to be a tough one. All right, number 15. Okay, number 15, right in standard form here. Okay, so you start with zeros. All right, remember when you start with zeros, you go to factor form, then standard form. So factor form should be pretty simple. It's just the opposites of what you see. So I see a +1 there. The opposite would be a -1. I see a -3, opposite, +3. Okay, and then I see a +5, opposite would be a -5. Now you've already done a problem like this. Okay, this is a problem where you just have to go ahead and factor. Or sorry, not factor. You go ahead and FOIL. My bad. All right, you do it twice. This is just like number 6 on the front page. Okay, so when I do this, I'm going to do the back 2 first. All right, back 2 first would tell me x times x, which is x squared. Okay, x times -5 is -5x plus 3x, which gives me a grand total of -2x in the middle. Okay, and then I have -15 on the end here. Okay, now I go ahead and I FOIL it one more time. So I have x cubed minus 2x squared minus 15x. So that was the x going through. Then I also have to take that -1 through. Okay, so -1x squared, +2x, +15. I go ahead and combine all my like terms to get me my answer, so I'm going to do that over here. Okay, so x cubed doesn't have a like term. All right, -2x squared and -1x squared is -3x squared. Okay, -15x and 2x is -15x. All right, and then finally plus 15. So there is part 1 for you. Okay, and it really doesn't get much different after this, but that's part 1. So I'll do the last couple in a second video here for you.